PWDs are people who are way too often defined by their disabilities instead of their abilities. Is our community really as accepting and inclusive as we think it is?
A physical disability is a physical condition that affects a person's way of living. This can affect the way they walk, the way they eat, and basically the way they live their lives. When a person is born with a physical disability, it is congenital, meaning that the deformity is already present on or before the child was born. On the other hand, if a person acquires the physical disability because of an accident, infection, or disease, it is called an acquired physical disability. PWD is an umbrella term for those suffering from activity limitation and participation restriction due to a physical, sensory, or mental impairment to perform an activity within the range considered normal for a human being.
Some misconceptions of disability. Number 1. Persons with disabilities live very different lives than people without. False. Overall, people with disabilities live the same as you and I, although some ways of doing things may be a little bit different depending on the type and severity of disability. Number 2. Persons with disabilities are dependent and always need help. False. People with disabilities may require help on occasion, however, disability does not mean dependency.
They rely heavily on physical therapists to rehabilitate them and restore their control over their external bodily functions. Thus, the role of PTs in the rehabilitation process of PWDs encompass their whole journey towards becoming, once again, an independent person.
Hi, my name is Christopher Mangan and I am 23 years old. I was born with a deformed right leg because it was strangulated by something called a amniotic band when I was still inside my mom's womb. Mom and dad decided to have it removed when I was 2, and thank God I'm still here talking in front of you. Actually, growing up with this was the easy part. What made it hard was facing the pressure when I was still a kid. Going to school every day, my classmates would call me Megatron, the one in Transformers, because of my robot-like leg and that I do things differently. In college, I had a very hard time traveling around the university and getting to my classes on time because my classes are in different buildings and not all of it have elevators. Thanks! I know I'm not. And despite not having any friends, I know I still have the full support of my family. My parents keep pushing me to go to flight school and pursue my dreams of being a pilot. They keep saying that if it won't happen, they'll just be the ones to make me feel like I'm on top of the world. And they're just amazing. Plans for the future? I don't know. I'm still too scared to apply for a job because of my past experiences. So, for now, let's say I plan to reach the peak of Mount Everest. I know it's a bit ambitious, but after conquering Macolod, Pulag, Pico de Loro, and Apo, I don't even know what impossible means. You are stronger than you think you are. And of course, there are times that having this sucks. But it's okay. You will get through it. What's important is to keep moving forward.
So here are a few laws that cater to the needs of PWDs in the Philippines.
Administrative Order Number 35, which directs all government-owned facilities, departments to promote and conduct relevant activities during the annual observance of the National Disability Prevention and Rehabilitation Week.
The White Cane Act declares August 1 of every year as White Cane Safety Day in recognition of the visually impaired PWD's need for assistance, and as a reminder for the public of their duty to care for and respect their brethren.
Republic Act Number 7277, or the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons. It is an act providing for the rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance of disabled persons and their integration into the mainstream of society and for other purposes. It outlines the rights and privileges of disabled persons and the prohibition on discrimination of PWDs.
Batas Pambansang Bilang 344 is also known as the Accessibility Law. It is an act enhancing the mobility of disabled persons that requires buildings, institutions, establishments, and public utilities to install sidewalks, ramps, and railings for the PWDs in public spaces.